about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Happy Wednesday. I am Nicole Everett, the host of Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole is a talk show focused on connecting the community through conversations. And this is what I call Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday is an opportunity for you and me and my guests to talk about mental health and wellness. And we have been focusing on Black and Brown clinicians since the middle of November of 2021, trying to normalize the conversation around mental health and wellness, eliminating the stigma so that folks can connect with clinicians and get their checkup from the neck up. All right. So I am super excited to be here with you. Please tell your friends, your family members, your coworkers, your church members. They need to be on here. We're going to have a great conversation tonight. So tag, like, tag, comment, all of that. Tag and share. In the tradition of Conversations with Nicole on these live chats, I want to hear from you. So this is an interactive live conversation. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions, for you to share. This is a safe space. But I want to know, before we get started, where you are tuning in from. Where are you tuning in from? So if you will, in the comments, put the city and state that you are tuning in from. Put your city and state that you're tuning in from, and we will give you a shout out. All right. So it has been a full day for me, y'all. I had 2 interviews. I did a book presentation to the class that I have adopted at Bond Elementary School. We donated some Black history books to my class, read the books to them, then went to look at a space for a mental health event that I'm having with the Mental Health Council of Big Bend this afternoon, and just came from Working Class Wednesday. So when I tell you it's been a full day, it's been a full day. But I'm grateful. I'm so glad to be here with you all. And I'm so grateful for our guest, Dr. Angela Henderson, who is right here in Tallahassee. I'm going to read you a little bit of her bio, and then she's going to come on and tell us who she is. But again, before we do that, I see you all commenting. So greetings, Ozzie. Thanks for tuning in. Ozzie is a counselor in the Virginia Beach area. Hey there, Tracy Golay. Greetings, Brother Solomon. Good to see you. We miss you, Solomon. You haven't been with us in a few days. So thanks for being here. Yes, Ozzie has been with me for the last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, and now Wednesday. My mom in Miami Gardens. Thanks for tuning in, Mom. Miss Bridget. Thank you, Bridget, in Tallahassee. And Princess. Thank you, Princess. All right. Frida, I can't tell where you tuning in from, but I'm glad you're here. My sister, Shayla, down in Pembroke Pines, Broward County, and Lynette is with us tonight. Welcome, Lynette. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, so Dr. Angela Henderson is a licensed clinical psychologist that has been practicing for the past 22 years in Tallahassee, Florida, and across the North Florida Panhandle. She is the owner of North Florida Cares, Inc., which is a private practice that provides comprehensive psychological services to children, adults, and families presenting with multiple clinical conditions. Dr. Henderson's specialty areas are psychological assessments, evaluations, family systems, cognitive behavioral interventions, and psychological trauma care. She has experienced training in specialty training and experience. She also has, my bad, she also has specialty training and experience in mental health integration within primary care medical settings and with Veterans Administration healthcare systems. She's developed working partnerships with and consultation services to local community agencies, schools, court officials, and law enforcement officials. Wow. And it's also a member of several community advisory boards in both Gadsden and Leon County. So help me welcome Dr. Angela Henderson.
Hello.
Yay!
Thank you for having me, Nicole. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you for being here. I think it was Dr. Gwen Singleton who
Yes,
connected us. So
yes.
shout out to Dr. Singleton.
Shout out to Dr. Singleton. Hello.
Yes. So tell the people, who is Dr. Angela Henderson? Who is Dr. Angela? Tell them who you are, not what you do, but who you are.
I love that question, Nicole. Who am I? Really, if you peel my onion down to the very core,
Mhm.
I am a small town girl. I actually grew up in Gatson County. If we have any listeners tonight from Gatson County, they know about Havana, Florida. So that's where I was born and raised. And
Listen, you got to pause, right? So, no, it's not Havana. It's
hey,
Hey
Vanna,
Vanna. It's Hey Vanna.
you got
Okay.
it. Havana, Florida. Yes. And every place where everybody know everybody, just good family values. So I grew up with that and I held on to that. So me at my core is someone that's very humble in spirit. I appreciate life and grateful to everyone that I come across each day. And I just am open to life's experiences. I love learning from others, and hopefully others are able to learn from me. But that's pretty much me. And that sort of permeates the relationships that I have with my family. I'm a big family person, and my friends and colleagues. So that's who Angela is.
Awesome. Now tell us, how did you get involved with counseling?
Ooh, yeah. I didn't choose my career. It definitely chose me.
Okay.
It wasn't the path that I was going to do when I started college, but anyone that knows about Florida and Florida A&M University psychology program, and Dr. Yvonne Bell. I don't know if she's watching, but I want to give her a shout out today. She's impacted so many people and so many individuals' minds. But once I took that first psychology course, I was hooked
Mm.
and I never looked back. And in hindsight, I realized that it was destiny because the way I was raised, my experiences throughout my childhood, my personality style, it was made for mental health and for the things that I'm doing now across my career. So it definitely chose me.
Nice. Yes. So I am very familiar with Dr. Bell. We actually are neighbors.
Hmm,
But I'm very familiar with her because I should have probably been a psych major, at least double major, because I was so fascinated with the Black Psych department at FAMU, and I would go sit in her classes and listen not only to her but Dr. Denard and Dr. Baldwin and a
that's
bunch
how
of
it
other
started.
folks.
Yep.
Yes. So I get it. I really do. So, tell us a little bit about your business, because I had not heard of it before, meeting you, but I think people would be interested in knowing more about it.
Oh, absolutely. My business is North Florida Cares. It's a private practice in the Tallahassee area, but it serves all of the neighboring counties. And pretty much, um, we provide the whole spectrum of psychological services. So that could be psychotherapy services with children, adults, and even the geriatric population, or it could be doing psychological evaluations where you are clinically diagnosing individuals of specific clinical disorders. So that is kind of a 1 to 2 type visit situation, but you're giving the person clarity on what type of diagnosis that they're experiencing. And that typically helps the treatment team that's involved with the individual, like their primary care physician, or if they are seeing a therapist, the things that we do during the psychological evaluation with our testing instruments help with the clinical recommendations in the overall treatment plan. So that's pretty much what I've done for these past 22 years. Just a lot of therapy, a lot of evaluation work.
Okay. And do you have a team? Do you have other folks that are on your staff or that you work with?
Yes, over the years, I've collaborated with a lot of multidisciplinary individuals. So this could have been other psychologists, other licensed therapists, interns. I definitely want to give interns a shout out too, because they are very helpful and they keep us current because new information come aboard over the years. And if you don't stay current, the work that you do can be outdated. So yes, I had the pleasure of collaborating with a lot of different individuals from various disciplines.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So before we get started, I have a little disclaimer that I have started reading because I don't want people to substitute our information session, our conversation with going to see a clinician. So all topics, past, present, and future, on Conversations with Nicole are for informational purposes only, and they are not to be used as a diagnosis or treatment or any answer to personal issues related to the topic being discussed before, during, or after the program. So that's my disclaimer. All right. So we are talking tonight about finding and sustaining Black joy. Finding and sustaining Black joy. So let me tell you, when I was promoting this on Instagram in particular, I typed in Black joy. And when I tell you it was a whole page of emojis around Black joy, I was so shocked. I was like, okay, so this is like really a whole thing. So a girlfriend of mine showed me a shirt that she had that said something around Black joy. I can't remember what it was, but she got it from Target. And I was like, wow. So, you know, to talk about Black joy, and I know people probably may feel like, well, why you gotta call it Black joy? Why can't you just call it joy? All right. But there is a distinction. So I'm gonna pull our viewers in. Okay, so if y'all just bear with me, I want to know how many of you have heard of Black joy and maybe even use the term. So just give me a thumbs up or a church finger or wave your hand or something and let me know. How many of you use the term Black joy or have heard the term Black joy? I'm really curious because even when I was kind of preparing the flyer, and when we initially talked, we said joy. We didn't say Black joy, but when I was pulling it all together, I was like, this is really a thing. This is really a thing. So give
So
me it is a movement. It is. It sounds like it really is. So Princess says she never heard of it, but a lot of folks are raising their hand that they have. Okay. Cool. So let's start with a definition. What do you believe Black joy is?
in its simplest form, Black joy is embracing and nurturing your culture, everything relating to you, the essence of who you are as a human being through your culture. So I've seen Black joy manifest itself through the arts. It could be through the words you speak, the acknowledgments you give to others in the culture, but you're basically embracing everything relating to who you are and how it then spreads out to others.
So I agree with that. I think though also part of it is because of because of the African American experience, or the Black folks experience in America, there's an emphasis on it, right?
Yeah.
Because you know we have been in the minority and haven't seen ourselves um, in the mainstream. Of course, we do a lot more now, but growing up, at least for me, because I'm 50 plus years old, um, that was not the case. And, I can see how us and other persons of color, um, maybe may not be joyful because of the oppression of life here in America, right? And
Yes.
and so the emphasis around, at least when I think about it, and I don't know, there may be a more uh, how do I want to say this? A more concrete or a more succinct, explanation or definition of it. But I think just, even the music that I've been playing around this about loving being Black
Mhm.
and about affirming our Blackness and loving our hair and our skin and our, the fullness of our lips and the width of our nose and our hips and our, just loving ourselves. And I want to emphasize, to love yourself as a Black person does not mean you are anti everybody else. Okay. Let's be clear on that. Loving yourself does not mean you are anti everybody else. I know sometimes that may come across in some of the messaging, or people may um, project that onto Black folks, I feel like.
Mhm.
But it's okay for you to love yourself and for you to have joy around who you are as a Black person. I just gotta
Yes.
say that because I feel like that is so huge.
It is huge. And if you add on top of that everything that we've been through for the past couple of years,
Yes.
it's put even more pressure to be authentic to yourself.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that, and so I think that's probably it. Like, probably I have heard that term probably in the last 2 years. Is um, when you, like you said, when you think about all of the deaths and all of the just the microaggressions and
Mhm.
all of the things that we've had to go through
Yes.
since this pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
so just I feel like we just need to be celebrating ourselves in all that we have gone through and are still going through. You know?
Yes. You're leading me right to where I want us to go.
Okay.
Because then the question is how?
Mm,
How do we get there? Because it's easy to say, I want to feel happy. I want to feel joyful. I want to have experience Black joy or just having joy in my life, period. So, how do you get there? I want to make a distinction between happiness and joy.
okay.
As a clinician, and I think you have some clinicians, if we do have some clinicians watching, they could probably relate to what I'm saying. Um, Most of the time, when we have clients that present for mental health,
Hmm.
the majority of them do not have major clinical disorders.
Okay.
They don't. The majority of individuals are presenting for mental health services because they are having problems adjusting or feeling a sense of dissatisfaction with life
Hmm.
or not being connected to joy or happiness.
Mm.
So, one of the initial questions that I love to ask during the first sessions is, when was the last time you felt happiness?
Mm.
And you would be surprised, Nicole, that the majority of the individuals respond with, I can't remember. I
Mm.
don't know. And with a lot of thought, and if they think really, really hard, then they can say, well, I think I felt happy. Maybe I remember when this happened. They are able to identify a specific event that happened maybe a week ago or a couple of weeks ago. And okay. But then when I asked, when was the last time you felt joy? And that's where the question comes, joy, but isn't happiness the same thing as joy?
Mm.
And it actually is not. So happiness is just a temporary emotion that we have because by being a human being, whether you are a black and brown person or any individual, you having happiness is one of your emotions that you were built to have. Just like you're built to have sadness, anxiety, excitement. These emotions serve a purpose for you and they are healthy. So when you get into a situation where you're not able to express yourself, you're not able to show when you're happy or sad or any of those emotions, that's when you get an experience and sort of like an unbalance.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not in your equilibrium. So a lot of times you'll have men that will present to therapy and they are experiencing difficulties connecting to emotions, even to happiness, even to joy. And then, of course, with women as well. So, happiness, learning that you're not supposed to be happy all the time. And if you're not happy all the time, that's okay. That's healthy. Happiness is not meant to be something that's stable and long term. It comes and goes. It's usually triggered by external things. For example, you seeing your kids doing well, or you accomplishing something on the job, mastering a task, and it brings you this burst of pleasurable emotions or feelings. That's what happiness is tied to.
Mm-hmm.
But joy, that's the sweet spot. That's the place where you have to really practice and build and strengthen because that's where you want to go. That's more long term, it's more stable, and it's less movable by stress. So you can have an individual that's stressed out, I mean, living in chaos, but will have a joyful spirit. And that will guide them and keep them stable throughout chaos. So, learning to get to that point where you are joyful and have a joyful spirit about you, that stimulates Black joy. That stimulates happiness, multiple memories of happiness, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I actually that yeah, you explained that well. We do have some comments that I want to bring up. Ozzy said, "I believe in living from the soul, and that is where I find joy." So Ozzy is a man of faith, and you know, everybody doesn't have that experience, and so I think that is can be challenging, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can get into the tools, and I want your viewers to consider this like some tools to put in your toolbox
Okay.
so that if you are a clinician, then you could think about it in terms of your clients. But if you are a everyday person going through stuff, then you could think about, okay, these are some strategies that I can use.
Okay.
And your listener, I'm sorry.
Let me just read these other two real quick because I thought they were also good. Solomon said, "We get there through conversation with our people. Education starts with conversation. When you know better, you do better."
Amen.
And then Lynette said, "Happiness is based on happening short term. Joy is deeper. Even if you don't have everything going your way, you still can manifest joy and gratefulness."
Yes, Lynette.
Mhm.
Exactly. That is the difference.
Yes.
So, how it seems like a lot of the viewers know about joy and know the differences and are practicing different habits that are creating kind of an atmosphere for joy. But for
Mhm.
those that are struggling a little bit and want to know, okay, I've really been hit hard these last couple of years,
Mhm.
and it's I just don't feel like I'm living, but rather existing.
Mhm.
These are some strategies and tools that you can use.
Okay.
The first one would be, and you kind of touched on it earlier, Nicole, and that is be authentic.
Hmm.
So ask yourself, are you living truly how you want to be, or are you trying to fit a narrative of what someone else think you should be?
Hmm. Okay.
So if you are living who you are or with authenticity, that stimulates joy.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
kind of the foundation.
Yeah. No, it does. It does.
The next one would be present.
Be present. Okay.
Now, when you think about being present, this is a huge one, Nicole, especially in mental health, because a lot of times we are trapped in what has already happened. And we're always anticipating what's around the corner. But if we're always worrying about what has happened and regretting what has happened or trying to figure out what has happened in the past and then anticipating what's happening in the future, you're missing what is occurring with you now. And that is a huge piece because if you stay in your present, then you're able to experience joy.
Hmm.
Think about if you are conscious of your senses
Mm-hmm.
every day. And if you're asking yourself every day, what can I do today to bring me joy?
Hmm.
Not down the line, not, well, when I get this job, when I obtain this, I'll be happy. But,
Hmm.
and all of that is good. Long-term goals are great. But what can you do today that will bring you joy?
Hmm.
So if you ask yourself that question, it
Hmm.
kind of moves to the next strategy, which is think small, not big.
Hmm. Okay.
So the small thing would be, okay, well, I always feel happy when I'm reading this, when I'm doing this, when I'm talking to this person. I always feel good. So beginning to think about what are those small things that you do every single day or things that you haven't done in a long time that brings you joy during each day. Try to
Hmm.
identify them by staying in your present and staying connected to the here and now.
Hmm. Nice. So let me interrupt because we do have a couple of comments.
Okay.
Marjorie, hey Marjorie, she said I can have a bad week and still say no one can steal my joy. My
Mhm.
purpose is continuing to be fulfilled, and my cup is spilling over. But this week, God is allowing me to be challenged. Just like happiness is short term, so is sorrow.
That's right, Marjorie.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And Marjorie is hitting right on the next one. So thank you, Marjorie.
Yes.
The one is finding purpose for all things.
Okay.
Find purpose for all and in all things.
Mm.
So if you, I am a person of faith, so
Mm-hmm.
it comes naturally to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you experience any issues, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you are looking for the learning in it, it actually reduces the negative impact on you. For example, the pandemic. The pandemic was a big thing for all of us, and it was new, and everybody had to adjust to something that they've never experienced before in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But in hindsight, we've come to find people made some major life changing decisions as a result of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
They learned about they weren't satisfied with their jobs. They learned that some relationships weren't healthy for them. Life slowed down enough where you could not escape your present. So you had to face what it is that you enjoyed and what it is that was not right about life. So a lot of individuals, made big changes in their life by using the pandemic as a learning experience. So
Mhm.
I would encourage you that any obstacle, any issue that you are faced with, to try to identify what is the learning in it. How can I learn from this and develop a plan of action to move forward? So
Yeah.
by you having your plan of action, you're not stuck with the negative emotion that's attached to it.
Hmm. Let me pause real quick. Leslie Steele, who is in Gaston County, she said, I think of the
Really?
movie Why Did I Get Married, when the Jill Scott character Sheila described how much joy she had when she found a new love, Troy, who supported her, took care of her, and that allowed her to be herself.
Yes.
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 Going back to being authentic, when you are yourself, your true authentic self, that in it by itself creates such joyfulness.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of a segue to that would be finding your passion.
Mm-hmm.
Passion is purpose. So anybody that is following their passion, living in their passion, or have identified their passion, it tends to lead them to their purpose, which ultimately stimulates joy.
Mm.
Now, the hard part would be, have you identified your passion?
Mm.
Do the viewers know why they were put here on earth?
Question. She threw that out there. Do y'all know what your passion is? Passion and purpose. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. You can just give us a thumbs up, a church finger, or a wave. Let us know.
Mhm.
We actually do have a question on the floor.
Okay.
Princess wants to know, what if you're healing and reliving trauma due to raising children and experiencing their development stages?
Yes, Princess, that is a really good one. With parents often are triggered in ways, and it's usually tied to past things that happen across their lives. So I would say if the strategies are not able to get you back on track, where you're able to go about parenting without being triggered, then that would probably be a good reason to seek out some type of counseling assistance to get you unstuck, because that is a very common one with parents.
Thank you for responding to that. Yeah. That Princess, I hope that helps you,
That was a
because
great question.
that was a great question. All right. Lynette said, be authentic. I think that's why some can't manifest joy. They struggle with identity. This was my story years ago. I had to intentionally evolve.
Yes.
Mhm.
Lynette, thank you. Your viewers are, it's as if they know exactly what I want to talk about. So thank you, Lynette, because the next one is be intentional about your gratitude.
Mm, okay.
Be intentional. Every day, focus on what you do have and what you are thankful for. A lot of times when we wake up in the morning, our first focus is on things that we got to do, things that we don't have, things that are just slightly out of our reach. So we're constantly chasing
Hmm.
and feeling stressed out. But how do you think your life would change if you wake up every day and you are intentional about creating an atmosphere of joy, and particularly Black joy? What if you wake up every day and you are gracious and you are able to identify several ways that you are thankful and grateful of others? That is a powerful foundation for sustaining long term joy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what role gratitude played in joy.
It's big
Hmm.
because words are powerful.
Hmm.
And if you state what you are, the I ams, the positive affirmations, or just putting out positive energies,
Mhm.
it tends to flow from that.
Mhm.
So it is huge. Gratitude is huge in developing an atmosphere for joy.
Okay. And probably sustaining it as well.
Definitely for sustaining it.
Mhm.
So, in therapy, we have a lot of interventions that are kind of tailored to that. One of the more popular ones are journaling. So, a
Mhm.
lot of times, therapists will have clients to journal and have a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And that has helped a lot of individuals to kind of not be so focused on what they don't have, because that is triggering for depression, anxiety, and other issues.
Mhm.
And you would be amazed on just how effective that is.
Okay. Well, let me throw this out here to the viewers. How many of you have a gratitude journal or some means of acknowledging what you're thankful for, grateful for? Maybe you may keep it as notes in your phone or something like that, but some way to acknowledge gratitude. Again, just thumbs up, finger, wave a hand, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. All right. Ozzy said, I sure do. I am life and I am living it. But I think that was for the other question that we threw out there. All right. Good deal. Let's see. So, yes, Ozzy said, I do. I write every day. Oh,
That's good, Ozzy.
that is good.
Yeah.
That is good. Yeah.
I want to ask Ozzy, since he's a male that writes every day in his journal, has he felt it affect his mood states throughout the day? Does he
Mhm.
feel good after he does it? And does it set the day up?
Okay. Yeah, Ozzy, I'm not answering for him, but just based on my observation and the conversations that I've had with him, he is a pretty upbeat gentleman. And so I would imagine, and he, so his energy is already to me kind of like high. So, and not in a, I'm not saying it in a negative way, but, he's just a fun loving guy.
Mhm,
He
mhm.
likes to laugh and have a good time. And, he just seemed like he enjoyed life.
So it's needless to say, joyfulness has probably been firmly planted in
Hmm.
Ozzy's life.
Yes, 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 yes. I think so. But I will let him answer. Okay, here he is. He says, I meditate for an hour first thing in the morning. That sets the day.
Mhm.
Hmm. Okay.
Very good.
Yep. Very good.
And this one, Nicole, is a good one. I definitely practice this myself, and that is helping someone.
Mm.
The fastest way to feel joy, or
Mhm.
initially the happy feelings, and if you do it a lot, it will create sustaining joy, is to help somebody,
Yes.
encourage someone.
Why is that?
Because the act of being selfless, the act of helping someone else,
Mhm.
it makes you feel that what you do is valuable. It makes you feel that you are connected to someone, and due to that connection, you have been of service or of help. That is wonderful when it comes to sustaining joy or having a joyful spirit in mind.
Mhm. So selflessness.
Selflessness.
Hmm. Yeah, I often say if you want to get your mind off your troubles, help somebody else.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. It is the quickest way. If you're feeling down, or you're feeling not having such a good day, or falling in a slump where you're just not feeling up, try being of service to someone and see the impact that it has on you. You
Hmm.
knowing that what you did mattered. Because a lot of times with depression, individuals feel they don't matter, or they
Hmm.
feel that life is not worth being here.
Hmm.
So by you connecting to others, is kind of incompatible with feeling depressed and having those thoughts and emotions because
Yeah.
you're actually helping someone.
Hmm. I can definitely see that. And I can say that I've experienced that as well.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Good stuff. All right. So I'm taking notes. I got be authentic, be present, think small, not big, find your purpose in all things, learn from it, and develop an action plan. Oh, I guess that was a sub of that. Be intentional about your gratitude and help someone or encourage someone.
Yes, excellent. One more I want to give out, and that
Okay.
is change it up.
Change it up.
Yes, change your routine up. So if it's been something that you've been wanting to do, but afraid to do, didn't have time to do, but you know is compatible with who you are and your authentic self, step outside of your comfort zone
Hmm.
and do it. The payoff will be big in terms of the initial happy feelings and building an atmosphere for joy.
Hmm. Okay. Well, let me ask my viewers. So, how many of you have changed it up in terms of stepping out of your comfort zone and you found the it to be rewarding because maybe you learned something new or tried something new or I don't know, maybe met someone new that you probably would not have met. It could be a number of things, but let me know. Let us know. How many of you have changed it up, stepped outside of your comfort zone? I tell you, 2016 for me was I called it the year of trying something new. And because that was my mindset, I did. I flew a plane, I ran a 5K, I started a business, I traveled out of the country. It just yeah, I was really setting my intention on that, and not that I knew that all of those things were going to happen, but I did not shy away from the challenge, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think if everyone thinks about the time that they tried something new,
Hmm.
they probably would be able to make that same connection that you did. Oh yeah, when I stepped out of my comfort zone, it led to me meeting my spouse, or it led to me getting the job that always wanted. If you
Hmm.
can make those connections from just stepping outside of your box.
Yes. I've had friends that have done, I think, have set goals that have been like nothing that I would do. Like one of my girlfriends was in a bodybuilding contest. And so, but she trained like, with the diet and the exercise and the building of muscles and all of that sort of thing. And I just marveled at it like, whoa. Um, but she's, it seems like, and I haven't even known her that long, maybe about 5 years or so, 6 years. But every year it's like she does something, challenging, something new, something that she's never done before that like
Mhm.
stretches her or pushes her and I just think that's great.
Yes. And if I ask you, what is her, does she have a joyful or an atmosphere of joy? What would be your answer to that?
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, definitely within herself.
Mhm.
Yes, I would say she does. Yeah. Hmm.
The biggest thing that I want to emphasize, well, I had to step out of my comfort zone. Yes. Yes, princess.
Hmm. Princess said she had to step out of her comfort zone, living in Tallahassee, and be vulnerable to connect with others. Hmm.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
One of the big things, Nicole, is um, let's see, I'm sorry.
So Ozzy said the only way to grow is by stepping out of the comfort zone and discovering parts of your being.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. When you deny yourself that process,
Mm-hmm.
and you repress the instinct to step out or to try new things or to connect with others, we've seen that's when issues begin to develop. That's when you'll be more vulnerable of getting depressed or
Mm-hmm.
feeling anxious. So don't resist your natural urge to do things because it's coming from a genuine place. It's coming from your authentic self. So if you have thoughts about, oh, it would be nice to do this or to try, then give yourself the opportunity to do that. All of those things will create an atmosphere of joy for you so that when you have tough times or when you have stress or if chaos visits your doorstep, you won't be easily moved because you will know who you are and what brings you joy.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Someone who who wants to comment on Instagram, but I mean not Instagram, on YouTube, but she can't. So she texts me. And she said, yes, you discovered strength you didn't know you had.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
And the challenge is, why do we have to learn that by going through the fire? Why don't we practice and get the skill when things are good? Because a lot of times you will develop those skills after going through really tough things.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to, or all the anybody that is listening tonight, I want you to try to say, no, I'm going to practice being joyful all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
then when bad things come, I already have my protection. I already have my buffers in place.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. It all starts with mindset, right?
Yes.
So if it's as that scripture goes, as a man or woman thinketh, so is he or she. So if you start out thinking a certain way, then yeah, it probably is gonna be, and if that way is negative, it will be. If that way is positive, it will be. So, think the best. Think abundance rather than lack. Think again positive rather than negative. Um, and yeah, so I really am huge on that, and I have definitely seen a shift in my life as it relates to that, and I want to practice that even more. You know,
Mhm.
we have so much negativity coming at us on a daily from all sides. From these devices that we're looking at, televisions, radio, the people that we interact with, things that we read, and so it's hard sometimes, kind of pushing that stuff out.
Yes. It
Mhm.
takes active steps. The thing about happiness and joy, happiness is kind of just a physiological response to good things. But
Mhm.
joy is something you have to build. You have to literally practice it, strengthen it. And that may mean you have to be careful on who you surround yourself by, because if you are surrounded by negativity, that's going to be very difficult to create joy.
Right.
So try to, as best as you can, and know it's not clear cut or perfect, but try the best you can to surround yourself around positive people, positive things that bring you joy, activities that you love to do. If you're a family person, connect a lot with your family. If you have a lot of friends that have been there for you over the years, make sure you stay
Mhm.
in contact with them. If you are a person of faith, make sure you stay connected to your community, your spiritual community.
Yes.
So there are ways to practice it in life every day.
Mhm. Indeed. Yeah. My text line said a negative. She said, and negative people will literally suck the life out of you.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes. Okay. Marjorie just chimed in. She said, in my story, inability to try new things was embedded in us as young children, Haitian family. I now see my daughter sad and afraid to try new things, so I just applied for a private school that allows her to explore all of the arts to find what she loves and enjoys. It's important to instill that from the early ages so I don't have a hesitant, dissatisfied adult. Ooh,
Yes.
amen, Marjorie.
Amen, Marjorie. Yes. Children often imitate what they see. So,
Mhm.
parents, yes. If your child see you being not afraid to try new things, surrounding yourself by positivity, and creating just a joyful atmosphere around you, guess what? There is an increased chance that your children will also follow suit because they would have seen those practices. So it wouldn't be anything foreign to them. And they will also be fearless in stepping outside of their comfort zone and creating their own level of joy by being authentic. So that's a really good point, Marjorie, that you brought up.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Marjorie, because you're right. Our children are watching us
Mhm.
and they are imitating what they see. And I will say that I experienced that with my mom. In fact, she not long ago said she was glad that I pushed past her fear. She was kind of scary and didn't want to do a number of things, but and I started to embody that as a child, but I pushed past it and I was like, I'm refusing to be scared. I can't live my life like that. So I,
Has she noticed it and given you feedback on that?
she did. Like I said,
Mhm.
most recently she said she
Mhm.
was glad that I had, I took a stand within my life and didn't take on that attribute of being afraid to do things.
Mhm.
So I mean, like I specifically know that there are certain roads or ways that we would not travel near
Yes.
our house because she was afraid. She was fearful of going out, a particular way. And I have intentionally gone that way to
Mhm.
push past the fear of going
Yes.
that way.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's great.
Hmm. Yeah. So again, they're watching and they're learning, and we don't want to give them a spirit of fear, but a sound mind and power.
Yes.
Hmm. Very good. Wow. So we have been talking around Black joy, and wow, you know, th- all of the things that have the techniques and tips and takeaways that have been presenting are not relegated just to Black folks, but we are encouraging all people to take these on, to be authentic, to be present, to think small, not big, identify purpose in all things, be intentional about your gratitude, help someone or encourage someone, and be selfless, and change it up. Change it up, change your routine, step out of your comfort zone. These are all ways that you can experience joy and sustain joy. Experience joy and sustain joy. And for those of you who may have joined us late, we highlighted Black joy because of the Black experience in America. And while the Black experience isn't a monolith, um, we all have probably had some very similar experiences based on our our skin color or the texture of our hair or the 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 broadness of our nose and the fullness of our lips and all of these things, right? And so we are embracing the Blackness. We are embracing our beautiful selves. Our Black is beautiful, and we ought to celebrate that. And it's funny that, well, maybe it's not funny, but it's Black History Month, so
Mhm.
which is really one of my favorite times of year because there are so many things that I learn about Black folks during this time. You have the ones that you normally hear about, but I normally learn something about somebody else, some
Mhm.
new um, trailblazer or somebody that was a first in doing something um, within the African American community, and it just shows how resilient we've been in spite of, regardless of how we've been oppressed and we've been told that we're less than or inadequate or not enough, but we are, and we
We
stand
are.
we stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yes. And as a people, as a collective, we are stronger, happier when we do subscribe to our authenticity, our authentic selves as a
Mhm.
cultural group.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, well said.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I hope you all are feeling the joy tonight. I am. I am. I think Ozzy said it best. A joyful mindset is a key word tonight. A joyful mindset. So you got to be focused in on it. You got to be intentional about it. And just also I want to say, and not to say that you won't have disappointments and you won't have conflict and confrontation or things of that nature, but as has been stated earlier, there can be stressors or you have a bad day or what have you, but you still can have joy. You still can have joy regardless.
Yes.
Rachel said, "Yes, I am extremely joyful." Yes, you
Yes,
are, Ray.
Rachel.
Yes,
Great,
you
Rachel.
are. That's awesome. That's awesome. Ozzy said, "We are resilient. The test of time is proving it daily. Let unity be even stronger." Yes, 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 yes. Good deal. All right. Well, this has been good. I think that I think you gave us some really good tips that we can take away and implement. Uh, I would suggest, writing these down, putting them up so that you can remember them, throughout your day and call upon them. Reflect upon them and call upon them and put them in play. Put them in play. So I want you to share with the folks, what you're offering um, at your business and how they can connect with you.
Absolutely. Um, if you want to connect with me at North Florida Cares, feel free to visit our website at www.northfloridacares.com.
Okay.
And particularly if you're interested in psychological evaluations or testing. Right now, my psychotherapy caseload is full, so I'm not accepting any therapy clients right now, but definitely are still doing and accepting psychological evaluations.
Okay. So psychological evaluations, you are accepting. Do you do insurance or no?
Yes, we accept most insurances.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, Leslie says she needs counseling. Thank
Welcome, Leslie. Welcome.
you. Leslie is right here in Tallahassee. All right. Ozzy said, "Be practical." Okay. He got
Yes.
his, he got his pen and pencil there. He taking notes. Mm-hmm. Said, "I need therapy. Can you recommend someone?" Leslie, yeah, we can definitely get you in contact with some folks. We can definitely do that. All right. Well, any other questions or comments from the group? We appreciate you being on here.
I've enjoyed it. And I love, Nicole, that you're giving us just putting the spotlight on mental health. Is so needed, especially in our community. It's been stigmatized for so long and
Absolutely.
underused. So this is a great service to our community.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angela. Appreciate it. I see my buddy Michael Cork is on here.
Hi,
The
Michael.
show. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being on here. So For those of you who are here in Tallahassee, Michael Cork does a morning show, Hallelujah 95.3 FM. They also have an app too, so you can listen that way. But he's on Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. So giving a shout out to the Hallelujah Morning Show with Mike Cork and friends. All right, Marjorie said, amazing conversation. Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you, Princess. Appreciate you being on here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ozzy.
Thank
Yes.
you, Lizzie.
All right. So I'm gonna put that website up one more again. For those of you who may be new to uh, this broadcast, we do appreciate your support and ask you to subscribe to the Conversations with Nicole YouTube channel if you have not done so already. And view, listen. We need all the views and the listening that we can get. Actually, I've set a goal of 4,000 viewing hours by March 31st on YouTube. So help me get there. Just let those episodes play. I'd like you to comment and like, but if you just let them play, that would work as well. Work well as it also. So please do that. And then we're on Greater Works Network, which is my network, Gerald's network, which is on Roku TV. So if you have a Roku TV player or stick, you can access us. We are live streaming right now on Roku, which I think is so cool. And so you can see us live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30, but we also have an app as well. So you can download the app and we'll be right there on your phone or tablet. So Greater Works Network. Check us out. All right. I do have a little bit of announcement. I will be out next Monday because I am getting an award.
Yay.
All right. So I am being honored, African Americans in Media Award. I am the Sheila Johnson Trailblazer honoree. And so I am going to be being honored next Monday. So I'll be out on Monday, but I will be back on Wednesday. So no,
Congratulations, Nicole.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm truly grateful. Um, actually, Hallelujah 95.3 and the Capital Outlook Live Communications media family, they are the ones that are doing these awards. This is the second annual. And so I'm just tickled pink about it all. That I'm an honoree. Actually, the first year, which was in 2020, that they did it, I actually presented someone with an award, Miss Shonda Knight, who is a media uh, celebrity here in Tallahassee, a media giant here in Tallahassee. So I'm so just honored and delighted that my community has thought so well of me and supporting me in this way. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well deserved.
Yes, thank you. All right, well, we are going to wrap it up. Man, lots of events going on this weekend in Tallahassee. So y'all be safe out there and keep wearing those masks and doing what you need to do. Because we need to still have you around here. All right. We love you. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Angela. Can't thank you enough for this great conversation. And let's keep this conversation going. Let's keep the conversation going and let's keep the joy going. She gave you some tips. Let's implement those. All right. All right. Y'all take care and we'll see you next week.